Scotland, 5-1, victors over Italy in the opening round. But they started strong and then let Italy back into the game before coming strong again at the end to take it away. Hello, amateurs, and welcome back to our Six Nations series, here with you throughout the championship and beyond. So hit subscribe down below to make sure you don't miss out on any of this amazing future content that's coming up. Now, that game I just mentioned, myself and Mike from Fratelli di Rugby did a big in-depth analysis of that. I'll link it just up there for you. Go and take a look at that when we dig into all the details. But this episode is all about what I think the Scotland team will be to face Ireland this coming Sunday in the second round in what is going to be an absolutely cracking fixture. I have no doubt whatsoever. One squad update, for Scotland. Big Sam Skinner is back in the squad, and I'm a little bit confused as to why he wasn't in originally. Anybody got any information on that? I'd love to hear it, because he's been playing. He missed the start of the season, I think, but he's been playing the last few months. So if anyone knows why he was omitted originally, I'd love to know. I met Sam once, actually, and I'm going to put the picture just there. He made me feel very, very small indeed. Big man, only second in size to Johnny Hill, who's the other person in that photo. Okay, from last week, in terms of the performance, it was a little bit of a mixed bag for Scotland. There were lots of good stuff. Some of the attacking pace and accuracy was outstanding, but then there was a lot of scrappiness as well. They did manage to keep Italy pretty much at arm's length the entire time and defended very well for the majority of the game. So, yeah, a bit of a mixed bag. So let's get into it. Let's get into the forwards that I think Gregor will pick for this coming week. And again, I've spoken about this on other videos, like, why would you make changes at this stage? And I've got an interesting theory about why I've made a change for this game. So here we go. These are the forwards that I've chosen. The same front five, but then in the back row, switched it around a little bit. Ferguson to 6 and Dempsey in at 8. And ultimately, I don't think any of these players, or very few of them, can play 5 80-minute games at this level throughout the championship. So there needs to be some kind of rotation around a little bit. And I think that this is Scotland's best back row. So I wonder whether Dempsey is almost, they kept his powder dry a little bit last week to unleash him this week. That's my theory. I don't know if it makes any sense or not, but that's what I think possibly might have happened. As, you know, obviously the bigger, tougher game. Also, I think just a bit more size in the back row might suit against this Irish team. I'm going to keep Dave Cherry in there at hooker as well. I think it was a surprise, I think, to many, many people last week, but I think it really works. Like, he played really well for the time he was on the pitch, and then Ewan Ashman brings a ton of energy into the game. And, you know, that's one way round of doing it. The other way round is the way I spoke with the Irish team, where if you've got that player with, you know, amazing sort of qualities, and you want him on the pitch as much as possible. But Scotland are going the other way, and I can see the benefits of that too. Okay, into the backs. And the big change here, Tom Jordan in for Stafford McDowell. Now, I feel a bit sorry for Stafford McDowell, actually, because it was a real struggle for him. He didn't really get into the game. He didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't do anything really outstandingly well either. And there was a moment right at the start of the game that could have changed everything for him. It was just before Rory Darge scored, and McDowell was running the short line through a massive hole 3 yards from the line, and Russell passed behind him to, I think it was Kinghorn, who was really marked. If that ball had gone to McDowell in the, whatever it was, the 7th minute, and he'd scored, that could have really changed the day for him. I mean, for Scotland, it made no difference because Darge scored almost immediately afterwards, but it could have made a big difference for Stafford McDowell. The other point with McDowell, and this is Jim Hamilton, I try to keep all the opinions that I share on here, mostly my own. And if I don't, then I'll attribute, you know, who said it. And this was Jim Hamilton this week. He noticed, obviously, we all noticed that Finn Russell was quite inconsistent, back to an old version of Finn Russell. And he suggested maybe the lack of the voice of Tuipulotu next to him, giving him all the information and extra intel, was missing. It's a theory. We don't know. We can't hear it on the ref mic, so we don't know. But Russell definitely did not look his usually usual sort of calm, measured self, I would say. And when Tom Jordan came on, that did change a little bit. I've got to say, Jordan looked fantastic, fizzing passes around the place. He looked big, he looked physical. And it's hard in this situation not to think, well, we've got to pick him. So I think he goes in there. Tough on McDowell, like I said, didn't really do anything wrong, but Scotland looked more composed, I think, when Jordan was on the pitch. Onto the bench, and front row stay the same. And I'm going to chuck Big Sam Skinner straight in there. I think he's been, he's been in this Scotland squad, mostly in that number 19 shirt for a long time. And his ability to cover second row and back row, I think, is very valuable. So he goes in there for me, with the only other change being Richie and McDowell swapping in for the starters. It's a big game for Scotland this weekend against Ireland. But Scotland have done well in big games in recent times. Can they back this up again now? They've got off to their winning start, far from perfect performance, although, as I said, lots of good stuff. They now need to come through and have a big performance against Ireland, who look like they're coming back now to being closer certainly to the pre-World Cup team that we saw. Can the Scotland team do it? Can they go, it's at Murrayfield, isn't it? Can they welcome Ireland and beat them and maybe get their way onto a fabled Grand Slam? Who knows? I don't know, but what do you think? Do you think this is the right team? Do you think this is what Gregor will pick? What do you think about my theory around the back row and whether they will keep in Jack Dempsey in reserve to be a bit fresher this week? What do you think about the centre selection? Do you think that's right? Do you think that's what's going to happen? Any other theories on why Russell wasn't quite at his imperious best against Italy? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll join you there for a friendly conversation. Give this video a thumbs up while you're down there. If you don't mind, it helps other great rugby fans find it. And you can subscribe there. You can watch that one next. And don't forget to get out and play.